It's directed by Kirk Wong.
You guys want to share
that? Hey,
What?
this looks bad.
It's pretty interesting. I'll see if you guys catch what I'm catching.
Lego's going to be begging to watch Tombstone again.
Never, dude. That was a rough one, guys.
What?
That was a rough one.
I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't like it. Actually, I'm not surprised.
I don't know what you guys saw. Seriously, like the action, how boring is that, dude? Fucking montaging your big action scenes, and then you have like the climax of your movie is that fucking stupid strobe light scene. Like, what the fuck was that?
Strobe light scene?
Fucking god awful, dude. Where the thunderstorm, where the big guys are rolling into town and killing all those people. Wowee.
Have you seen Wyatt Earp, Lego?
Wyatt Earp?
The
Yeah.
4-hour
Yeah,
film.
there's a second movie.
Yeah,
with
it
Kevin
came out like
Costner.
a year later. It was
No.
based on it was Kevin Costner as Wyatt instead of Kurt
That was
Russell.
in the time when movies released two different things. So it was Wyatt Earp and Tombstone, and then it was like a double or not. It was a Deep Impact and Armageddon, and it was like Volcano and Dante's Peak. It was like the same
Ants
theme of
and a
movies,
bug
but they were like
life.
two different. Yeah, and only one survived. So in this case, Tombstone was actually the better of the two movies, if you can believe that.
Oh,
and you're
man.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
White Earth was 3.5 hours. It was a
God,
VHS
it
film.
It was like a Western water world. Yeah. It had more to do with Wyatt, I think, prior to Tombstone.
I don't know.
And then shortly after
I
Tombstone.
don't hardly remember it.
We are right at 1,500 subscribers right now, guys.
Nice.
And if you're
Hit
not
that sub
subscribed,
button.
hit that subscribe button.
Have you seen the
Give us
Doc
a like.
movie? Have you seen the Doc Holliday movie called Doc with Stacy Keach as Doc Holliday?
No.
Harris Yulin as Wyatt Earp from 1971.
Mm-mm.
Faye Dunaway. Maybe I have to check this one out.
Sounds interesting.
It's called Doc.
No, it doesn't.
Thank you, Lego.
It sounds very interesting to me.
Stacy Keach and Faye Dunaway. It's like that's like two strikes and you're almost out, man.
You know what's crazy is I was going down the rabbit hole with looking at the Old West photos because they had pictures that were actually taken of Doc and the Earps and
Yeah.
and whatnot. And what's crazy is Doc Holliday's girl, her name is fucking Big Nose something.
Big Nose Kate.
Big Nose Kate. And her nose wasn't
Yeah.
that big. Shit.
She was Hungarian.
But there's always a interesting. They all have interesting names.
Yeah.
Texas Jack and Buffalo Bill Cody and Wild
Yeah.
Bill Hickok and
Turkey Creek Jack Johnson.
Turkey Creek Jack Johnson.
Yeah. That was one of the guys that rode with Ryan on the Vendetta ride. He's the one that gets shot in the ear, like kind of at the beginning of the movie.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and he was with the other guy, Texas Jack Vermillion. I just wonder if they like sat down like on the side and like just thought of like their name, like what am I gonna call myself?
Ooh, I got it. I'll be a cool drink.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on,
What's up,
Sanchito?
Steve?
Nothing much.
What up, Sanchez?
What's up, man?
What up? What up?
Sanchez in the house. Let's go.
Dirty Sanchez. In the flesh.
Sort of.
In the comic flesh.
We got to get you a cameraman so you can join in.
I'm good like this. I'd rather have my profit picture up there.
All right, we had some interesting things happening this week in pop culture. Let's start with let's see, Scott, you guys had said you had just caught up on Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
So,
The
Josh,
Book of Boba Fett.
you had some words of wisdom. Aggressively relaxing. Searched comics and now I'm here. Hi. Hello, aggressively
I
relaxing.
like that name. Aggressively relaxing. I want to aggressively relax.
You gotta drink whiskey and Dr. Pepper.
I'm not sure who that is. Aggressively relaxing. What brought you to our channel? Let us know
He
in the
says he
comments.
searched comics and now he's here. So he searched comics and this was something that recommended.
I was thinking more like the specific video, but if this is the first one, then that's cool.
That's awesome. Welcome.
For sure, for sure. All right. So my thoughts on this last episode of Book of Boba Fett was that it's funny
Awesome.
how the best episode of the show was basically an episode from another show.
Wasn't this why we've been watching the show? Because we've been hoping to see them show back up.
Yeah. It was a great episode, but you were correct last week, Nathan. I read that it goes up and down. Like you have a great episode one week, then the next episode is garbage, and then again you have another
The
great episode.
Favreau Kennedy fight.
Yeah,
It's like
That
a
was-
tug of war of
that
The
was
tug of
on
war.
point. Yeah, you were on point last week because this week's episode was great, and last week's was just bad.
like it's like, dude, it's like a dookie tug of war, man. Where it's I hopefully whichever episode. Well, I know it's supposed to finish on not this week, but the week after, I believe. If I'm
I
not
think there's 2 more episodes.
No, one. There's only one episode left.
Oh, there is. Oh shoot.
It's only 6 episodes?
Yes, sir.
It's a bunch of bullshit. I'm finally getting invested in there.
Are you
Shit.
sure? I think it goes for 2 more weeks. I could be
They
wrong.
usually make it a 6 or an 8.
Hopefully,
part series.
because if it's like I said, and it's one good one and then one bad one, it's going to leave off on a bad one. I hope they finish it strong.
Oh,
I'd be
there's
interested
2
in
more
seeing
episodes. Yeah, there's 2 more. It's 7
Yeah, okay.
episodes.
Yeah. That makes
7
sense.
episodes.
So yeah, you're right then. So one bad one and then the last one's gonna be good.
Hopefully, right? Hopefully
So-
they're both good.
But what's her name? I forgot the lady's name, but she was she's an actress and she was a director for this past week's
Bryce
episode.
Dallas Howard, Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah, she was great as a director. Like this was a great episode. I have to give her props.
She was awesome in Twilight.
Wait, isn't she? What's her name? In Mandalorian, didn't she play? What's her name? The red hair. Isn't that her?
No,
that
Katie
was not her.
Sackhoff.
No.
That was not her.
Katie Sackhoff plays
That
Bo-Katan.
was Katie
She was
Sackhoff.
She was
We
in the
need to go back
Cylon.
to Battlestar Galactica.
I forgot the girl's name. That's the director's name. But is it Bryce something or?
Bryce
Yes,
Dallas Howard.
Howard.
It's
Okay.
Ron Howard's daughter.
It's Ron Howard's daughter.
The lady in
She's
the
Said that like
water.
7 times.
World and Twilight.
Fuck, she's in the village.
I didn't see the village.
Yeah, it's the other one.
I didn't see that garbage.
Are you from the towns?
I
Oh.
told you the best role was in Twilight.
All right, Josh. So, what's your wisdom about the Mandalorian, or did we touch on all the? Looks like you're just kind of getting you're storing up.
No.
Is
You're
the hose
just tired.
kinked?
No, I
Gas.
overall I don't care for the Book of Boba Fett at all. This last episode was okay, but like you said, it's not really about Boba Fett as it is. And the reason the reason that I don't like it is because I don't think that the writers understand who Boba Fett is as a character. When we first encounter him in the original trilogy, he's a ruthless and relentless bounty hunter. And he's the kind of guy that has the temerity to mouth off to Vader and think he's going to walk away from it. He does. And what we get here is like the noble bounty hunter who's trying to have a code. But in this respect, what he's actually doing is just being a poor knockoff of the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian's already tread down that road. He's already the bounty hunter with a code. So now Boba Fett is supposed to be the other bounty hunter with a code. It's like they're missing the mark. When we see Boba Fett show up later in the prequel trilogy, obviously he's just a kid, but we can see what's building him up for that ruthlessness is like the tragedy that's involved in watching his father die at the hands of the Jedi, right? We also find out that he's a clone of his father, which is, that's its own problems. But just the way that they're portraying him, when he comes in to Jabba's palace at the end of the Mandalorian series, and he just executes straight out Bib Fortuna, I'm like, that's Boba Fett. And now he's coming in and he's taking tribute and he's letting these Twi'leks like mouth off to him and people treat him with disrespect. And I'm like, why is it that his assistant is the one that's willing to execute people for mouthing off, and he's just going to sit there like a chump and take it? Now, I know people are going to say, well, he went through his trials with the Tusken Raiders and they made him into a... Shut up. This is Boba Fett. He's already an old ass man and established. He's not going to be convinced by little kid Tuskens. He should probably be blasting them for like beating his ass in the hot sun.
God.
Boba Fett's a bad guy, dude. He's not a good guy.
Not really.
I like. You know what? I agree with you 100%, Josh.
I was gonna say I don't always agree with Josh, but I
kiss
agree
his
with
ass more, Steve. Just
Yeah, Steve, you fucking MODOK.
Oh my God.
Hey, it's not my fault. Yes,
Why can't
it's not my fault.
Boba
Yes,
Fett change? Why
a
can't
great
he
review?
change?
Because if you're, so I'm not saying that the character can't change.
Yeah, that's exactly what you just said.
I don't know. But when they change him, why do they make him into a pale shadow of the Mandalorian? They've already done this story. It's like Disney doesn't know how to tell multiple stories.
Okay, well,
with
how
these
would you
characters.
then change the
I would have left
character?
him. I would have left him a ruthless bastard.
That's what I'm saying is that you just want the same shit, different way kind of situation.
So what I'm saying is,
that gets boring.
No. So I'm not saying that he can't change, but my question is, why?
You're saying he's changing into something that's already there,
right? And not only that, but why do you need to change him? When you said you're going to do a show called The Book of Boba Fett, what do you think people want to see? Do they want to see Boba Fett, or do they want to see a fat old Mandalorian?
There's not a fat. Well, we've already seen what Boba Fett does from the Mandalorian.
I want to see him writing the book.
You know
I want
what?
to see him writing his
You're sleeping on the couch
memoirs.
tonight, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Protect the junk because it's gonna get hit. I hear nonsense.
Like,
No,
I don't like. We should be wearing. I don't want to see his goddamn face. Put the helmet on. I want to see Boba Fett. I don't want to see his fucking acid pale face, and and his fucking dad bod. Put the goddamn suit on, bro.
his dad bod.
Put the suit on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I have to see this damn dad bod on the damn
Back to tank.
yeah, I'm like, come on, man. I don't want to see that. I want to see some action.
What's interesting to me is that everybody has built up what Boba Fett is off of basically
2 lines.
15 minutes of full screen time that you ever saw him. You saw him.
It's less than 15
You
minutes.
saw him in
Here's the
Empire
thing is
Strikes Back.
It was a
And you
cool
saw him
looking
on the- in the-
creature.
in the
It was a cool looking
cartoon.
character.
No, but if
it
you
was
read
a cool
Yeah, but you
toy.
built up.
So
you
most of
built
your
up what
adventures
this guy
that you have
is.
with him are the ones that you made yourself. And
No,
it
but if
can't-
you read
it
the-
can't
if you
live
read
up
the-
to your imagination.
no,
for
but if
sure.
you read also the Star Wars Extended Universe books, they also had a bunch of stories from Boba Fett on the Extended
Yeah,
Universe.
they did, but that shit doesn't apply now. So
In
you
the
have to,
total
you
of
have to
those
push
3
all of that
movies-
stuff aside and you have to take what you've seen, and what you've seen in Empire Strikes Back and the holiday special, and I don't even know if that's canon.
It was 6 minutes and 32 seconds of screen time between the 3 films.
Yeah, so you don't see a whole lot. Now everybody's built up, oh, he must be this and he must be that. But you don't know anything about him except for what the prequels show him as a little kid. You don't, you
Tell him,
have
Liz.
this idea of what he is here, but he may not be that badass that you
It's
want him
funny.
to be.
Aggressively relaxing. When 61 years old you reach, look as good you will not. Hey, this guy's cool. Hey, aggressively relaxing. We're here every Monday, man. Sub up.
So look, I have mixed feelings about what's his name, Tamura Morrison or whatever. I have mixed feelings about him playing the role because I'm not a prequel fan. I'm rather disgusted with those movies as it is. But I get that now this is part of the Disturbed canon, so we have to expect that. But I just expect him to be more like the Boba Fett that we saw in episodes 5 and 6 than to be like the Mandalorian. That's what I expect.
He's got all his shit taken away from him. So he had to reinvent himself.
After the sequels, I don't mind the prequels anymore. Like I rather watch the prequels than the damn sequels.
No. See, you're being deceived because the sequels are awful, but that doesn't make the prequels better. It just makes them less awful.
That's
Right.
what I'm saying. But I rather
But-
just watch I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'd rather watch the less awful prequels.
Sure.
then-
I agree.
We talked about this before, that the prequels, they weren't as good as the originals by a long shot, but when I watched them, they still were Star Wars movies. I didn't
Right.
feel like they were bullshit like the last ones were.
But before The Last Jedi came out, the prequels were still terrible movies, right? Then The Last Jedi comes out and basically redefines terrible. And then now we look back with fondness. I mean, the first 5 minutes into The Last Jedi, I was thinking to myself, my God, can we please watch Attack of the Clones?
Oh
That's how awful it was. But the reality is that the prequels and the sequels aren't the standard. The standard is the originals. And by comparison to the originals, nothing that Disney or Lucasfilm has put out since then is anything close to those movies. It's not even in the same category. So we have to keep our eyes fixed on the prize and have our expectations set on movies that are 40 years old. That's the standard.
Well, at least the Mandalorian tried. I'm thinking it's a good. Well, I'm not talking about Boba Fett, but at least the Mandalorian series was a good start or restart to hopefully going to the right direction. Because
Everything hasn't been trash. I mean, let's be fair. I've got very distinct analogies about knowing what it feels like to be raped and whatnot since those sequels came out. So,
the sequels have been bad. Come on, every single movie has been really bad, except for
Rogue One wasn't bad.
Rogue One, except for Rogue One.
Solo wasn't horrible.
Oh, Solo was garbage. Oh my God, that was just horrible.
I didn't think it was horrible.
Who invited Sanchez?
It's the dirty.
What
Sanchez.
the hell? I thought you loved me, Liz.
Liz, if you want to,
You're sounding too much like my husband now. I don't need both of you doing this.
you want to,
All right, I think we're
you can go ahead and I'll pick through it before you put it back on the cell.
Oh, come on.
So look, here's the thing. There are Star Wars products that have come out that, like Nate said, aren't terrible. And unlike Sanchez, I do think Solo is okay as a movie. I think Rogue One is okay as a movie. I think The Mandalorian is okay as a series. but okay isn't the original trilogy. The original trilogy is the gold standard.
But nothing's gonna meet
No.
that expectation.
My expectation.
Yeah, you watch
is
those
that they
movies
have
when
to
you're a
like that.
child, guy. Nothing's ever gonna compare to your childhood.
Yeah,
No,
it's
hey,
not
hey,
gonna
look,
So
If people watch
That's
Empire
not
Strikes
how
Back
that
right
works.
now, they're still gonna love it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because
You don't
saw
have to
it
be
as
a
that's right.
child.
You loved it as a kid.
right.
But
But
I'm-
no, but
but
the
the
thing
but
is-
what he's
is
saying
that-
is the movies are so good. Even now, if you watch Empire Strikes Back, no matter what age you are,
I
You'll
know.
watch
I
that
watched
movie,
these
and that'll
movies
be-
at least
you'll be in
twice.
To
love
this
with
day, when the
Star Wars.
Fox searchlight comes on anything and it goes dun 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 dun, the hair on my arm stands up to this day.
Not for me anymore, man. It's been ruined.
Well,
Now I just
remember
I just
that
cry.
that wasn't part of the sequels. They didn't have that in it.
Didn't they?
No,
No, dumbass, they didn't. They had it with that god awful revamp that they did it for.
yeah, they didn't have it.
They didn't have it because they weren't Fox shows.
No,
They were
I blacked
Disney.
out a lot of that stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, guys, here comes the backpedaling.
No. So but to go back to what Nate and Steve were talking about just a second ago, there are movies that I loved when I was a kid that I can't watch now as an adult because they're actually garbage. Star Wars is not like that. Like Steve was
Nope.
saying, Star Wars retains its greatness over time. There's plenty of other films that I loved as a kid, and I look now and I'm like, my God, what was wrong with me? You know?
Tango and Cash, baby.
I still on Double Impact. It was the greatest movie ever.
I didn't say it was the greatest movie ever. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, I love
the
the
hell?
One of my
Empire.
weak.
Aggressively relaxing says if YouTube existed in the 80s, people would have been quotation The Last Jedi mad about Empire. Go
Oh,
read the
you're
Rolling
crazy as
Stone
fuck.
article with
No,
Ford defending the
that's-
film.
that
and
is-
says
that
he
is
was so
100%.
upset.
That's
You're
100%
crazy.
false.
I was liking that dude. Now I'm not. Now I thought he was cool, but now I'm not because that's crazy. That's crazy.
He's true. That is true though. Back in the day, like everybody hated Empire Strikes Back. That was the worst of the three
That
movies.
is not true.
That is so
No,
true.
It is.
That is not true. I've already
I do
seen.
remember.
Everybody
No.
said.
I thought people
no,
said
okay,
Return of the
let me
Jedi
finish.
was the worst.
No, that's it. Now you say Return it out of the three.
No, I
Empire's the
never said
crown
that.
jewel.
Return of the Jedi is the worst.
A lot of
when
people didn't
Empire
like
Strikes
Empire
Back
'cause the way
came
it
out,
ended.
For the longest time, hardly anybody liked Empire because
No,
there was too much exposition going on. There wasn't enough action.
no, there was one guy who wrote an article in the LA Times taking a big dump on Empire Strikes Back, and now people will point to that article saying like, "Oh, see, people didn't like it." The fact of the matter is Empire blew out Star Wars in terms of box office draw
Because
and lines around the block.
That's bullshit too, because everybody knew it was another Star Wars movie, so everybody and their mother's gonna fucking go and see it.
Right, but
So it doesn't make any fucking sense.
no, but the movie retained its goodness over time.
No, that's a
Nobody
dumb
thinks that
metric to
Empire's-
measure it by. Liz is right. That's dumb.
That's a stupid analogy. Let's saying, oh, I'm gonna go see the sequel to this awesome fucking movie, and you expect it to get the dumping happened because of the one article, but that's not true. There are a bunch of people when we were growing up, and you would ask people what your favorite Star Wars movie was. 90% of the time, it was Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, as a kid, it was Return
And
of the Jedi. That's
then
true.
Empire was the absolute worst. Well, the same thing happened with adults too. That there's plenty of interviews where the actors are having to defend how good the movie is because nobody liked it.
No, and I'll tell you why that's wrong. And you could see that with the sequel trilogy, right? So everybody went to go see The Last Jedi because everybody thought that The Force Awakens was good enough, right? And then what you saw after The Last Jedi was the radical downward spiral effect that it had on the rest of Star Wars, especially with Solo and even with The Rise of Skywalker. But Empire Strikes Back did not have that effect on Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi was even bigger. And so you can see that that's just not the way that people
No,
felt
what he's
about
saying is that out of the three, for the longest time, everybody thought that the second movie was the worst of that trilogy.
it. No, see, I never thought that. I thought
I
that
never
it
thought that
was
either.
worse. I thought it was worse than Return of the Jedi, but I thought the original Star Wars was worse than that.
I remember reading a fan letter from a Steve Sanchez sent to a Star Wars forum about how much he hated Empire and it was the worst.
You lying sack of.
Damn.
I trust Isaac.
Oh hell no! The hell, Liz?
That was her 30-second shirt. It says I trust Isaac on it.
I have my vote for Jose shirt, and now I'm gonna have the I trust Isaac shirt.
Man,
happen,
come
guys.
on.
Make it happen.
I trust Isaac.
Quick side note. Lego, that shit's looking awesome. I just want to say that really quick before I forget.
Well, thanks, dude.
I just wanted to say that. That's all. Back to the. Sorry.
I also wanted to say that Isaac is going to be running as my vice president. So if you trust him, vote for Jose.
Fair enough.
So I don't want to beat Star Wars horse to death. We've got another episode coming out in a couple days we can talk about next week. Let's roll over into the Peacemaker.
Oh, now that was badass.
Have you the Scots finished Peacemaker? Have you started it?
We haven't
No,
even started it.
we just finished Book of Boba Fett. We're caught up with
Okay.
that. So Peacemaker.
I
we
can't
have
wait
to
for
catch
you to
up.
watch this.
We're probably
That's
going to do
whatever.
that this weekend.
That's what everybody keeps telling us. Is that I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. It's so good. I'm like, I know.
We still haven't watched Eternals either. So
Well,
we
you
can
have
that
catch
you
up.
can
You can skip that. Don't worry about that.
Watch it.
Don't worry about that one.
Peacemaker. You'll enjoy Peacemaker.
You'll
But
love
you said
Peacemaker.
that. You said that just to get them to say that. You're such a dick.
I know because
Protect your junk tonight.
No,
'cause it's gonna
because-
get hurt.
you defend the weirdest things.
No,
That's why.
you know what? Cause I'm a glass.
That's
half
true,
full
Liz. You do
person.
defend Josh all the time.
I know. I defend this piece of trash all the time.
If something happens to Eagly, I'll lose my mind. Aggressively relaxing said.
I know. I keep
Okay.
hearing about that.
All right,
character.
he's back in my good graces now.
Because he was worried.
I'm telling you, that show is so good. I mean, John Cena,
Perfect
Perfect.
person to play.
perfect. It's just
All right,
He was born to play that role.
let me ask this question. I'm assuming you guys have seen all of the different Marvel TV shows, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it better than those?
It's different.
some of them,
Different.
yes.
It's
Some
different.
it's a different. Yeah, it's
It's a
different.
different feel. A much different
I
feel.
mean,
than-
it's got James Gunn written all over it.
yeah.
So
It's more like it's way different feels. Apples and oranges.
it feels
super-
like a Napoleon
super
Dynamite
violent.
superhero.
Super violent.
Violence.
Super vulgar.
There you go, Nate. That's pretty good.
So do you think
Like-
that there is a future in DC going forward? Like, do they just have to go balls to the wall with like an R rating on certain things to capture that audience?
They need someone like Feige, and if they were smart enough, they would call in Gunn after he finishes number 3 of the Guardians, and I would DC, if I was DC, I would give Gunn millions of dollars to take over and take over DC universe and
And
fix it.
actually create the universe. The
Yeah,
proper
and
way.
fix it correctly.
And not allow any of their investors or anybody to stick their hands in
That's
it.
that's
Wait a minute. But
Here's the thing: they're not going
the
to
problem,
do
though,
that. Now
dude.
that
They're not
they've
going
opened
to,
up
yeah.
the multiverse,
They're not
No.
going to.
they don't need to. Now that they've opened up the multiverse possibility, they could just have any Tom, Dick, and Harry come in, or Sally. I'm sorry, I hit all the genders there. To come in and do whatever they want. They can have 15 different Batman movies coming out because now the multiverse is there. They can have 60 different whatevers because that nobody has to be accountable to it now.
But see,
They're
that's
gonna
awesome.
too.
Though.
they're gonna go that direction.
Because we're getting
They're
a
just gonna
Joker
keep-
too.
That's so stupid.
Okay, but it's not the same Joker that
I
we've
know.
seen before. So it's just another
Thank
Joker.
God.
So then they're gonna be like, okay, well, we want to see so and so play Batman. So let's get them in there and play the Batman. Or they don't even have to do sequels if they don't want to. They could just
But
pick
see,
it up and do it
the
again.
the James Gunn universe is actually still the DC. It's the main DCU, anyways. So if he takes over that portion of it, and still have the different universes like Matt Reeves is doing, he'll keep doing whatever he needs to do on that, Earth 3 or 2, whatever the hell he's in right now. And let him keep doing all his stuff, all his other movies and characters for that universe, and hopefully the Flash movie could like make people understand what's going on more.
I don't think they're lacking in the creative department. I think what DC and Warner Brothers suffers from is that they have involvement from dudes that have never actually created or done anything like with a movie or a comic book. And that's where the big difference is with like Marvel. Marvel has guys in charge who have written comic books, who have created universes, who have worked on movies, and who know what works.
Or at least fans of the content.
Yeah, they're fans. Yeah, that's another good way of putting it. And DC and Warner Brothers have have executives who are calling decisions. It would be cool. Maybe this, I don't know, like they're calling shots of what they think would work, and it's not working. They got to let the creators create, or at least bring in somebody. And I agree with you. If they can afford to bring in James Gunn and just do like, dude, take care of our universe the way that Kevin Feige does the Marvel, dude, it's gonna blow up. But are they willing to do something like that? That's the question. It's like, what is, like, they think like, I'm telling you now, dude, they're seeing stuff like these record sales of comic books, like, oh, and what were the records? It was Superman and Batman. It's like, well, we got the most, most expensive books bought. We have those licenses we can do. It's just gonna print money, and that's not the case. Like, people are catching on to that BS, and it's getting into, and then hopefully I'm actually
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I never try to have high expectations for anything because I don't want to be disappointed. But a good part of me, because I'm still like a Batman fan, I want the Batman to be successful. I want it to be great. Like, and I'm kind of nervous. It's like, are we gonna have a repetition of what happened in the 90s, where it's like it's bombed so many, they just can't get it right to the point where they're just
you don't want bad nipples.
I don't know. That was a different era. The trailer for this Batman looks really good, man. I'm hoping it's great.
I know, and that's
aggressively relaxing says.
And that's
he likes to think the Joker movie takes place in the Halle Berry Catwoman universe.
Well, the problem is too, the comic wing of DC's not doing so good. They're killing off the Justice League. They're getting rid of all of the main Justice League characters with the exception, I think, of Batman, because he's the only one that actually makes any money for them. And Wonder Woman, they're going to cancel the Wonder Woman title, and it's just going to be Wonder Girl and Nubia now. And then they're getting rid of Green Lantern, because now they're going to make it Far Sector.
That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, that's what she said.
They're killing the Justice League off, and the word. The word behind the scenes is that the reason why they're doing all of that is because they're getting rid of the Clark Kent Superman for John Kent, because he's an original character, and now they don't have to pay royalty fees to any of the creators because it's not that character. And they're getting rid of Diana Prince and replacing her. They're getting rid of each of these guys so they don't have to pay the royalties except for the ones that actually are making the money, which is basically Batman and all the Batman characters. And that's why you only see now 50% of what DC's putting out are Bat titles or Bat family related titles. Because they're putting all of their money into that character and everything that's going on, and everything else is just kind of secondary to them.
And again, other decisions, like if they got people who are creators, like Jeff Johns, I think, isn't in charge anymore, right? Like, he hasn't been in charge for a minute. Like, dude, like, you're getting rid of all the dudes that know what the hell they're doing, and this wouldn't be a problem if they were still up there in some type of power position. It's like, dude, like they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just pulling, like, oh well, We can eliminate. It's like saying like, oh, here we're working at this company, and the way that we're gonna save money is by firing the highest paid, like, you know, the oldest employees. It's like, let's do that, and it's gonna show that we're making money now. But it's like, no, it's not. Like those people were the reason that you're in the position that you're in now, and you're gonna get rid of them. It's a stupid corporate move, and they rarely work. It's like you can't. Numbers don't lie. It's like the people can lie and say this is why, but at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie, and the numbers aren't gonna be there. Me and the guys don't want 50 Batman titles. If 99% of them are garbage.
I agree. It's a tough sell for us at the store because, you know, most
And that
of our
sucks.
DC titles.
That's what I'm saying.
We
And
have
then it trickles
to
down.
cut our orders down drastically on DC. DC just doesn't sell for us through the store unless it's a bat title of some kind. And even then, that's not a guarantee. Like Batman sells. Like the actual Batman title sells, but like the rest of it, it's hard. It's interesting to see what we have left. Like when you look at our numbers.
Aggressively
Our
relaxing.
numbers.
Are you feeling those variant covers with all the dudes with their shirts off?
Right, like,
Well,
That's
I mean,
Robin.
but you know what?
That's the big cover for Robins.
It's
they
not
do
even.
want they do want more variety, or what is it? What's the word? More. I mean, since they're gonna get rid of the old Superman and have the new gay Superman, more to fit more, you know. And then they're gonna have try to get Robin in there too now and make it a
Well,
love
that's the thing
story.
is if you look in the bat titles, they're moving. Yeah, it's Nightwing and Damian's being moved up into a bigger position. But you know, it's on the Green Lantern side. It's Far Sector, and I'm trying to think of who else is over there.
You know, they
I
got
think
that.
Jessica.
That John Kent
Jessica
Superman
Cruz.
reminds me of Eddie Murphy's Raw, where he's talking about Mr. T. I'm just thinking about, I'll clip you with butt cheeks and rip your dick off.
What the hell are you talking about?
Leave it to Eddie Murphy. We'll check it out later.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a fever and he doesn't know what he's doing right now.
No, I got
I
you.
can't go to
No,
I can't go to
but
San
it's,
Francisco.
That's the other thing too, dude. The ridiculous amount of variants. Like they're relying on variants to sell the book as opposed to focusing on the quality, man. There's a lot of shit we can touch
That's
on.
the name of the game, though, across the board. That's not strictly a DC thing.
You
I think
But Marvel's the worst.
Yeah, Marvel's the worst.
But all titles are doing it because if you're the one who isn't, you're leaving dollars on the table, and it's hard to know.
and
what
it
to
doesn't
do.
Well,
help
it feels
like that 1 in 25 Black Panther #3 that came out 2 weeks ago that was $4 or something is now selling for $300 to $400.
Those 1 in 25 sell for like 30 to 50 bucks.
My guy, look it up on eBay right now. Black Panther 3 1 in 25. Tell me how much it's going for.
I know, but they start at 30 bucks and then they
Regardless, but that's
go
what I'm
up
saying.
and up
Even-
and up and up. Those $30 ones will always go up into the hundreds.
You do have to
Not
remember
all
too
of
that
them,
a
though.
dollar's
No,
not
not all
worth
of
what it
them.
was 2 years ago.
but it's not
two
worth.
years ago, if I can feed my family at McDonald's for $20, now it takes $60. Take $60.
Why would you feed a McDonald's, bro? That's gross.
That's just an easy analogy.
Why would you give them an
Why-
option in the value menu? That's your fault.
even with the value menu?
Don't let them. What are you doing, bro? Dollar menu all the way. Fucking
Yeah.
They don't have a dollar menu anymore. It's value menu now.
Yeah, there's no
Value
dollar
menu.
menu.
I don't care. Hey, but when everybody was fighting for that sandwich at Popeyes, I was like, hey, y'all forgetting the OG, the $1.20 at McDonald's. That was my chicken sandwich.
The chicken foam.
But regardless of, yeah, the value of the dollar's gone down, but it's I don't know, man. Like it's getting tougher and tougher. I think that's why the guys and I love independent comics so much more, because they have that creative liberty. And it's like, if you really wanted to see if you really wanted to see what works, look at what's happening with Image. Look at what's happening with Scout. Look at what's happening with Aftershock, with all of these other independent guys. Those books sell, not just on covers alone. It's because the stories interest people, and then the hype gets built up, and it's like that's what you need to do. We're entering that era. It's like
they're not burdened down by canon either. They can tell fresh stories. Some of the continuity of these books is kind of like a ball and chain on some of these older properties, keeping you from being able to do new things.
Well, sort of.
No.
Here's the thing. What if I'm going to go to a comic book store? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look for Captain America comic books. And the problem is that we're living in a time. I know that whatever the new inspiration for Captain America is, it's dog shit. So this is something that prevents somebody like me who actually has means from getting in and collecting again, because the things that I would like to see, I cannot see anymore. They don't exist. And that's something that drives me away from it. You know, if I wanted to read Star Trek, if I wanted to read Star Wars, if I wanted to read Ghostbusters, if I wanted to read Captain America, it's all crap now. It's all crap. And so are there independent comics that are doing rather well? Yeah, but I want to see my favorite, but I can't anymore. It's been stolen from me forever.
So yeah,
Well, that's a problem, dude. I mean, you're asking for shit that came out in the 80s to still be relevant today, and that's just not gonna work, man. It's not. It's not. You got to look for something fresh and new.
And that's when we read Frontiersman, we thought of you. We're like, this is a Captain
America. That too. He's like, man.
We're like,
that's exactly what we talked about. I was like, dude, this is a Josh book. Right
I'm sure
here.
your ear was probably burning that. We're like, dude, this is a book Josh would
enjoy.
Like your ear, I'm sure you're the day you were like, dude, talking about me. And it was us. We were like, dude, Josh would fucking love this book. Like, this is a good book. Maybe not love. Maybe I'm taking it too much, but you would appreciate.
You know what? You'd love Peacemaker.
And I've told you, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you
live in a comic book store, Josh. Just pick it up and read it instead of playing Pokemon.
Wait. Yeah.
Let's
hear his excuse. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Wait for it. Let's hear the prophet here speak and his excuse as to why he can't read a comic. Go.
Almighty.
I'm not saying that the new comics can't be good. What I am saying is that it's not impossible for them to do new Captain America stories. It's not impossible. They're unwilling. And what I don't understand is why nobody is as pissed off as I am that your old IPs that you used to love, that you grew up with, are being ruined by these monsters.
How about this, man? I'm going to tell you something. Tough titties. Get over it.
I like it. Tough titties.
No, you're right, Josh. You're right, because I'm mad at, like, the last good Captain America that I read was Rick Remender.
You loved that Nick Spencer run, didn't you, Steve?
I don't know, that was
garbage. Raving how great it was.
Hell no, I want to beat his ass.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. Rick Remender.
I think the last one was Rick Remender that did a great Captain America run, and that's what 10 years ago.
It was 10 years ago.
At least 10 years ago, Rick Remender did a great Captain America.
Oh, yeah. 2012, you're right.
That was Mark Waid had a great run at Captain America also.
And then before that, Steve Epting and Ruth Brebeck.
There you go, that too.
And
that was right before Rick Remender. So it's been at least 10 years for the last good Captain America. And you have a point. They could do another good run, but they don't want to. Now they're using all this other shit that they, trying to get all these other characters. I'm glad they're trying to get these new characters out for the new generation, but they could also have, Captain America or Black Panther, whatever, Iron Man comic with a good writer, but it's just not on their cards. For me, I would love a good DC book like my old Flash when Wally West was the Flash. Yeah, when Mark Waid was doing it, that was amazing. or a Green Lantern, but you
You're
know,
gonna have your Guy Gardner bowl cut, right?
hell yeah, I would love that Guy Gardner series. But you know, I don't have it anymore. But now I'm reading more independent comics because of the guys here. You know, they showed me all these other new stuff. I have to read something, and the majority of my stuff now is independent because DC and Marvel have let me down.
Pick of the week.
But at the same time, it has given there has been a rise in like minor
I'm gonna bring this to
characters.
you.
Okay.
And
Like
trust me, did you ever read the Rick Remender stuff, Josh?
No.
A lot of it
No,
after
I
Cap
quit.
Wolf.
I quit after they did the Cap Wolf storyline back in the early 2000s.
No, but you should read the Rick Remender one.
I recommend reading the Rick Remender. It was pretty good.
The Brewbreaker run was good too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
was
this
good
was
too.
after the Rick
That was a
Remender was in the
good.
Cap.
That's when he brought into the Winter Soldier.
But that was-
You read the Captain America where he went on to that other like planet or whatever with his kid and stuff.
I read Dimension Z. It was trash.
That's not what you were saying when you were reading it.
No, that's exactly what I said. You kept asking me how is it, and I'm like, I'm just, it's not catching me. It's not exciting me. I'm not feeling it. It just doesn't
Not
feel like
80s.
Captain America.
It's not my Cap.
No, look, I read Cap into the 90s and I was very satisfied with it, but it's like Marvel has lost their capacity to do it. And Liz will tell you that when it comes to collecting, my focuses are very narrow. And what they've done is they've cut off the branches that I was living off of.
So climb a different tree.
We're kind of
But that was
on
it.
Josh
That's
here.
So climb a different
That's-
fucking tree. There's 10
that's-
trees that these guys told you about.
I know, but I want my tree.
And that's the
Well,
thing.
you
We
can't
were
have your
in
tree
the
that they
same
cut off
boat.
if they
if
fall
I
to the ground.
if I can't have my tree, then I can't have my tree.
Then you get, if I can't ever do it, I'm getting screwed, guys. I'm living in my choice at a sandbox. Fuck you.
That's how that works.
Get out of here, you big
Companies
baby.
lose customers, you know.
Yeah, but those companies, okay, so Marvel has lost your, but there's other ones out there that you can enjoy. You just refuse to let yourself enjoy them because then you have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, you were right.
No, it's because
that's-
I'm terribly embittered toward these people who are wantonly destroying.
You
everything
mean
that I
these
appreciate.
people?
But that's
What
why
do
you
you mean,
have to.
people?
If you believe, if you believe your dollar, you know, they lost your business, then you have to give the business, dude, to somebody who's actually doing it right. The dudes that are writing Frontiers, I'm gonna keep bringing that up because I think that's the book that I think you're gonna enjoy. If you give them your business, hey, what are these dudes doing that we're doing wrong? And it's like people are gonna say that's like a fucking Captain America book. It's like, what is he standing for? What's he talking about? What's he fighting for? And it's those values. And if people see that, they're like, okay, maybe there is a way of telling these new stories. Who knows, man? Like at the end of the day, we were in the same boat for the longest time. I think the majority of our poll list was always just DC Marvel, DC Marvel, DC Marvel. And we got in the same thing too. We're like, we got fed up. We're like, dude, we're just getting bull crap here. And that's when we had to start expanding, start looking elsewhere, see what else is gonna make us happy and what we're gonna enjoy reading. And I'm so glad that we did. We all took that leap and we gave all these other companies our money and our business and our attention. And dude, everything has been paying off tenfold. We're enjoying
Absolutely.
books like
And
Saga.
it's not that we don't run into bullshit. We run into plenty of fucking garbage.
Yeah,
But
even with the independents, but still.
I think a big part of it is it's a love for comics. And like I said, I think we're kind of piling on Josh here a little bit, but
Because we love them.
we love comics, and that's what we're here for. And if Marvel or DC or whoever ain't putting out the comics we want to read, then we're gonna fucking bail and we're gonna go somewhere where we can get the shit that we want. And that's the independence right now.
And I understand all that. I have a love for comics, but I'm very concerned that I have a love for comics that doesn't exist anymore. Right?
Hey Liz, when is that Frontiersman trade coming out?
I love the memory of comic books.
But we've given, not just me, but the guys and other people have given you things that we know what you like, that that you would enjoy
No,
it.
you think that I'll like it.
Well,
You think?
sure, but you're never gonna like. You don't try it to see. If
I've tried a few comics, but nothing is has taken. I read that what was that Viking comic series that you
Barbaric?
Barbaric?
No. This was before Barbaric. This was.
have you read Barbaric?
I was gonna
I tried
say,
reading the first issue.
What do you mean?
hey,
you tried?
you'll love
I got like
Barbaric.
halfway through.
And
Come on,
See, I don't-
Barbaric is
I think
good.
I think you purposefully like try to look for things wrong with stuff instead of actually sitting
No,
and enjoying
I'm
it.
waiting for the comic to like have that spark that says, "Oh, that's interesting. I want to find out what happens next." And it just never. It does nothing that I've read recently really ever picks up on that.
You have a broken brain or something.
That could be. I might be a damaged girlfriend. You know.
Anyway. Well, keep giving him things to read because maybe if he doesn't listen to me, he'll listen to you guys.
She's
the good
desperate
thing-
to get me reading.
Well, the good thing, Josh, I mean, those old comics are still there, and you could always get them on trade paperbacks and just, read the old stuff. Like I bought all this old omnibus and trade paperbacks, which, I read constantly. I read all these old Guy Gardner books. I read all these old X-Men books, which, in the 90s and early 2000s, X-Men was amazing. And same thing with the Green Lantern Guy Gardner stuff. All that stuff was badass with Jeff Johns writing it. Even Flash was John.
There are a few series that I do that with that I have in my collection, but it's very few. And part of that is because I enjoy them when I read it, and then when I'm finished, I remember like current state, and I'm just like, fuck. It's like going through an old photo album of your grandparents that you haven't seen in 20 years because they're pushing up daisies. You remember your fond memories, but then they're still dead.
I get what you're saying, but
Fuck, man.
but I'm telling you,
Nothing
Josh, trust me, I know how you feel, but there's you have to at least open up a little bit and
Let the healing begin.
and read some of these books. Like, trust me, there's stuff out there you'll love. Like, I mean, like the guy said,
when they do the manga of us, that my character's always going to have that little smoke thing above his head.
All right. Well, if we don't want to beat that horse to death either. Let's
Sure.
talk about Kevin Costner and Silverado, and not going full retard. Liz, take us away.
Me? No, I think he had a deeper conversation with Lego on that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I just saw him on his Whatnot show.
So the gist of it is Fuzzy and the Fat Man comics. He does a great Whatnot show. But he was telling me that we all missed it, and it really bugged him that we all missed that Kevin Costner was supposed to be like a special slow kid. He wasn't supposed to be like a kid. He was just supposed to be, kind of the.
I did not get that.
I didn't get it either. I was
On the
completely.
spectrum.
Yeah. I don't know
It
the
makes sense
exact.
now, though.
See, I thought the same thing too.
Holy shit!
I
I
was
didn't
like,
rewatch the
no.
movie now. Oh my god, my mind's just been blown. Because I remember he's like hanging around on the thing when he's with this girl, but he's hanging around on the thing instead of being on top of the girl for a bit until he actually falls off and he falls on her and they just start laughing. Damn, that's just a shocker. It makes sense now.
When he comes out and he's got his two guns and he's like looking at him, he just like spontaneously starts laughing.
Yeah.
Or when he's
I
talking,
like-
when he's first arrested and his
Yeah,
brother
I
comes
was
in to
just-
talk to him.
I was just
And he's
hanging out. I don't know what I did. I do good, right, boss?
Jungle Jim's in the jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was jungle gymming in the
Yeah,
jungle.
it's true. It makes a lot
You're here
more
to get
sense
me out of jail
because I
like
wasn't
you
sold
did?
on him being a young kid. I really wasn't sold on Costner being a young kid, but I'm sold on Simple Jack. Like,
It makes a lot more sense now that he kept disappearing and stuff because they sometimes disappear. Fucking A, dude, that's wild. I wish he was in our fucking video with us to point that out to us.
I know, right?
So
And
what?
now get to 12
So what's his diagnosis then? Is he like autistic or what's going
on
on?
the spectrum.
Because he's an excellent gunfighter.
Well, they're excellent in a lot of things when they get hyper focused.
Yeah.
Oh man. When Liz told me that Fuzzy said that, I lost it. I was like, man.
Yeah, because I just popped onto his whatnot sale just to see what was going on. And he goes, "Okay, young lady, I love your pick, but you know what? I don't think that Kevin Costner was playing a young guy. He was playing a slow guy." I'm laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh my god." At least somebody else saw it besides me, because I saw it too, but I was like, "Nah, that's not what it is." But it was
Well, this
so
was back in the
funny.
80s. This was when you could do stuff like that and nobody would be upset, you know?
It was pretty good. Yeah, and people were he was just slow, but with Fuzzy's voice, it was much better the way he said it.
Jose, what are your thoughts on that, being someone who has expertise in the field?
Oh, jeez. Hey.
Well, having hung around Sanchez for a long time, I kind of picked up on those vibes too.
No, don't try to bring it on me, sucker. They got you already, so get out of here.
Why are you so angry? Man, these people, they get angry really quickly. You have to be careful with them.
They rip arms. They got
These
that
people.
strength.
And then they got that very
strength.
aggressive strength.
They got that strength, man. Takes like 6 doctors to hold them down. 6 200-pound doctors to hold one dude down.
You know, you saw how focused Jose was with that corner earlier? Like hyper focus right there.
Hey, I wouldn't worry about it, man. He's too big to even fit in the camera frame, so
Damn.
Brutal.
Damn. He just signed out. Good job.
He just signed out.
Did he really?
Yes, I'm a going home.
Oh man, he's gotta go cry in the car, isn't he?
I take it back, Leo. Your things look like shit.
so your
But I
love
still want it.
not
Though.
unconditional.
But I still want it. Though.
Oh my god.
so my buddy Moses that I ride bikes with, he's got one of those 500 video games in one like cabinet joystick thing, and he was watching our live stream last week, and he wants to host the Street Fighter 2
Battle?
tournament.
He wants to host the battle of the century.
He does.
Boomer versus Boomer.
Here's the
Sonic boom, some would say.
the key is this, that we would have to venture to Compton.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
That's not safe for me.
Wait. So you're trying to do
it's not
so
safe
you're
for me
literally you're trying to do the literal Street Fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, we want to play video games, bro. We're not really trying to have fights in the street.
Man,
Yeah,
I don't think
not-
I don't think Josh knows you can't do real Hadoukens.
Hadoukens, man. You don't understand. I'm not 6 foot tall and green. Okay.
I thought that you were gonna say your friend was like gonna bring the machine like to race comics or something, or
You know, that
You
might
know.
be worth it. That might be a good idea. You can plug it
He's
in
like,
and
wait, that
and
sounds
it's
safer.
either- That sounds a
that
lot
sounds way
safer.
safer than going to Compton.
But he, I think he would probably try to. He's got an upstart YouTube channel that he's doing, and It's called Them Bad Neighbors with a Z. It's not bad. They got like sketches and things. It's an interesting show. I went on there like the day before I got COVID and did a cameo on their show. I think it's going to be coming out soon. Grape Street in Compton. Oh yeah, Grape Street. Good times. But yeah, I'll talk to him. But he said he was like running his mouth just like Josh was about being the champion of Street Fighter.
Hey, my Chung Lee's pretty dope, bro.
You're what?
My Chung Lee's pretty dope.
Hey, Sanchez wants in on it too.
I'm good at Street Fighter. That's all I did before. That's all I played.
I didn't say that I was a champion. I said I was trained on a tropical island. That's what I said. Which is a true statement.
You're calling yourself Bruce Lee.
A lot of shit's implied with that, honey.
It's the art of fighting without fighting.
So you have your hands doing splits between two chairs before you.
That's correct.
And then they throw something in his eyes, and he goes.
Yeah, his hand.
How's he doing, Liz?
You gotta watch the video to see it. Go watch Double Impact, and then you'll see it.
Oh yeah, that's great. Double Impact. So tell us about the movie we're watching this week.
Jose.
I never heard of it.
It's the big hit with Mark Wahlberg.
Lou Diamond Phillips, Christina
Right.
Applegate. It's got a good cast. It's very 90s.
So it's La Bamba meets Married with Children, and Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
All together.
I get it. Remember?
It has
like what?
I don't want to spoil it, but there's a guest appearance by King Kong. There's a lot, man.
Is it like
what's
Ready Player One?
the big what?
The big hit.
The big hit.
Big hit. I'm gonna be busting the Lego in
Simon
6
Phillips
days
is
asking what it
very
is.
funny.
I'm gonna watch it, see how it is.
You never watched The Big Hit?
I don't think I have.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I think
it's one of
we saw it
the.
in the theater.
Yeah, it's
No, I don't think I've ever watched it.
Yeah.
It's got like 1 star on Walmart.com.
Jesus.
I'm gonna see if it's on Amazon and I'll check it out.
Dude, that's gonna be
Have you
bad.
seen that Applegate plays like his
43% on the tomato meter.
Mother-in-law, her mom's always there, and they're always like.
Then again, this movie is from 98, dude.
43 tomato meter, 57 audience score.
Here we got married.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't
me
either
neither.
anymore.
Yeah,
Days.
6.1 IMDb.
Damn.
We've watched worse.
Oh, it's a little kitty.
So, quick question, guys.
One?
Now that we saw that recently that Black Spider-Man page went for millions or went for a lot of money, are you guys gonna be getting into more original pages to buying? Or are you guys gonna just stick to variants and comics or commissions? Or what's your percentage of thinking of buying more pages?
I
Wait.
got a couple
Who's that
pages,
directed at?
and I got one.
Anybody?
cover.
Oh, yeah, I don't
I'm-
trust
Well,
her
dude,
either.
it's
for people doing
yeah. I'm not balling out, dude. Like if I can find a page that I like from an artist that I like at a decent price, I'm gonna get it. I think I've said it before where I talked about, I'll sell my comics, I'll sell, certain
movies.
signed books, but my
Oh.
artwork I wouldn't sell. The artwork, I don't know whether it be a commission or a page that I purchased or even just a sketch. A lot of them seem personal. Like it just depends. I think I've sold a couple sketch things here, but that's because I've gotten multiples from that artist. And it's always going toward getting something else, for the collection. But artwork, I mean, art's art, dude. Like, I don't know. If I got it, it's for a reason. And
I think a lot of the original art, and especially like the high end art collectors, like if they're true fans, like I don't think you're going to be able to buy it off them, no matter the price that you throw down. Like even ridiculous amounts of money is probably not going to be enough to sway for a lot of these collectors, because I think part of the joy for them comes from the prestige of having it. Like I'm sure there's guys out there with like Dark Knight pages, you know, where they'll take that shit to the grave.
And you're absolutely right. And I think that's part of the reason why some of these pages, like take a look at who's selling them, dude. It's art houses, it's dealers. It's rarely ever a private collection that somebody's willing to let go. I think in my life, I've seen 2 pages from 300 up for sale. You and me and Lego saw one at that one dealer's booth at Comic-Con.
Yep.
And then I think we even Googled it to see if anybody else was selling. Nobody else was selling those pages. They're all privately owned. They're nobody. And it's like, man, if I had that type of cash and I was able to get that page, was gorgeous. And I think it was like 20 grand.
Yeah, it was like a Civic. It was like buying a new Civic.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, 20 grand. Like if I had that cash and I bought that page, I would never sell. It was a beautiful page. And I was like, and it was such a sick, I think it was the one with the wolf, right, Lego?
Yeah, exactly. It was the one where he's squaring up. He's got the spear and it's gorgeous. Fucking.
And looking back at it now, I'm like 20 grand seems really cheap for that page. Like looking back at it now, I was like 20 grand.
20 grand now is like 5 grand 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like you, Jose, of course, I'm not nowhere near the high end stuff, but if I do see something, especially me, because I like more the 90s stuff, so it's easier for me to collect. Well, now it's getting more expensive because people are starting to buy the 90s stuff now. But if I find a page that I could afford, then I'm jumping more onto original pages than actual comic books. Because I don't know, it's like you said, it feels, looking at an original page, it's just seeing it in front of you is just amazing.
And it's definitely a matter of who's drawing it and when if the artist is like hot. It was somebody's website I was on very recently, and I'm talking about maybe a week or 2 ago, where they listed new items, and there was some pages from like who the hell was it? And my jaw dropped because a newer artist was going for a hell of a lot more. And I was like, yo, that dude's an OG. That guy's like I'm trying to remember who the hell it was. And I wish I would have sent you guys the link. I'm pretty sure it was on Albert Moy. And I was just tripping out. I was like, how the hell? I think it was somewhere like Tyler Kirkman. And like his page or his art was priced higher than this other dude. It was something like that. It was like, I don't want to say it was Tyler Kirkman for sure. But I remember seeing it and I was just like, I was flabbergasted, as Isaac would say. I was just like, yo, what? Like, how is that? Why is that? And I think it's because this artist is hot right now. And that's why they're just trying to like, and it's sold. Like, I think it's sold by the end of the next day. Or it was at least on hold for somebody. And then the other one, that OG, and I'm trying to remember what the fuck the OG was, because even I was like, no way. Like that was still, and I think I just checked it a few days ago. I think it was still available. So I think it just depends and what's hot, what people are buying and stuff like that. Because I've seen Carmine Infantino pages like between $300 to $500, and you got major characters on there. You know, you got like a couple Batmans here and there. You got a couple. Who else did I see? Like there was somebody else I saw that was like, it was a Thor page, and I was like, no way. And they're still up for sale on eBay, and it's like, yeah, they're sold by dealers, but they were like $500 to $600. And then I see someone like, and with all due respect to like Daniel Warren Johnson, and I think it was his Better Ray Bill, and his stuff was selling out for like thousands. So I think it's just a matter of like the marketing and who's buying what and what you know, who the dealer is and what the connections are. There's a lot of things at play, but I can definitely see myself, because of the budget, I would be more willing to buy like the Carmine Infantino, because to me that dude's an OG. To me, I would love to own something original from one of the, the dudes before. It's like, like if I presented it to Nate, like, Nate, if somebody brought you 2 pages, and it's like Herb Trimp and someone that's more modern, who are you more willing to go with?
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, I'm going old school, man.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just a matter of like, and I've seen sketches from and again, not ragging on anybody. Everybody get your stack, get your paper while you can, because you don't know how long that ride's gonna last. David Nakayama, and again, get your paper, dude. You deserve it. You're an amazing artist. But how much was he charging for a commission? And I've seen sketches of like from dudes that are gone now go for relatively less.
Or like at LA Comic Con, with your example with David, he was charging $750 for a sketch, which he deserves it. Like you said, he's an amazing artist. I love his stuff. I'm not saying anything bad about him because he was really, really nice guy. But I was able to buy Ron Friends, which he's an OG legend, for $150 for a full figure. And I would jump on getting more Ron Friends original artwork than a David Nakayama, because he's an OG. But that's just me. That's my my selection. But I mean, more like you said, more power to David. He's making his money, and he was sold out on his commissions. But I mean, a Ron Friends, OG legend for 150, yeah, I'll take that all day.
And me and the guys, it's like testament when we met Rick Burchett. How much were those commissions that we got from him that were like 11 by 19 full figure? They were like, what, $50 full color and everything? And it's like, oh my God, that's like from Batman the Animated Series. This is a dude who literally worked on a show, who worked on all the comics. And then some of the other artists that were there that are now, and I don't want to say no name, but they're just not really talked about nowadays. They were charging triple what this guy was charging.
That was a WonderCon, right?
It was, remember? And it's like,
I remember.
It's you remember, and it's like it's a tricky market. Like at the end, I think just buy what you like. Art is a really tricky thing to look at as an investment, in my opinion. Because you have all those factors going on. It's like someone that's hot now may not be hot in a year or two.
Yeah, there's that fashion aspect of it, who's the hot up and coming person. I also think that, I like to collect art of not just people who are artists, but an artist who had their hands in creating an iconic character. Those are a big deal. And what has Nakayama done anything other than just being a good artist who's making cool covers right now? Like, did he change the comic scape in any sense by himself?
Nothing yet.
Not that I'm aware of.
But who's to say that he won't? Like David Mack was in that for a long time, and it's like nobody was even aware that he had co-created Echo. I think it's just a matter of like, are they just gonna do this, or do they contribute? And then how often are they allowed to create something new? Like if I were to tell you right now, who's a really, really hot artist, right? Or who's a really hot character? Spider-Gwen. Who are the creators of Spider-Gwen?
Robbie Rodriguez and
everybody hates that dude.
And who's the writer?
Cameron Stewart.
Yeah.
Did that or
no, it's Cameron Stewart. He's
Jason
been
Latour.
Jason Latour.
Yeah, because he's also been too, like Cameron Stewart has already been kicked out of comics, and
that's right. That's why
he's the patterass.
He was creeping.
I remember when he was all high and mighty, fucking talking all this madness, and next thing you know, he got kicked out by his own people.
Got me too'd.
Oh, that was awesome.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like you look back at that, like the creation of Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen's it's phenomenon. Like people still love it, still love her.
They love her.
And that's what I'm
Ray
saying.
is
It's
such a
like
pain in the
where,
ass.
and I bet you anything, dudes that invested a bunch of money into buying that original artwork, where's that art? You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough to look at it like an investment. I think the person that paid $1 million for that page, either, they saw the value of $1 million in that page, and it definitely, it's questionable. I get that they want to keep their identity secret. They don't want the world, seeing who they are, but at the same time, it makes you question, like, who are these people? Is it just one person, or is it a firm that has a stake in a art house with a bunch of comic art that now wants to see if they can push the art? That's what I'm saying. It's like there's a lot of things that go into it. So I think at the end, just when it comes to artwork, buy what you love and buy what you like, and if you do that
page, that was a big thing. The black suit was, something big. I mean, I don't think it was that big to cost that much money.
That's what I'm saying. But was it $1 million worth?
For me, though, that it was worth millions is the X-Men covers, #1 covers that they sold to what's his name?
John.
Yeah, John sold them. John and Jim Lee sold them to what's the actor's name?
That's not true.
It's not.
That was a spoof. No, that was a spoof. They sold them, but they didn't sell them to anybody famous. The actual purchaser of that has remained anonymous. That was a spoof that they did on that.
So, but either way, they sold it for what, $3 million? Is that?
Yeah, the price is right around what they said it was, but they said they sold it to Cage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. That was just a April's Fool joke spoof thing that they did.
Just like them spilling that chili on it.
Right. Well, how much original art is being done now? Like, how many pages can you do when everything's done digitally? I understand you could get commissions done at on covers, or you can get commissions done when you go to conventions and things like that. And you can request
I've seen some
actual pages from
social
comic
media
books.
posts from artists that are not doing things digital, even though it's easier, so that they can make the money off the aftermarket page sales.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
I think it's a pretty good vision.
Who does that? Because a lot of times I see them working on their tablet boards and their art boards that are digital boards, not actual paper and stuff like that for actual panels for comics.
So they make an NFT and sell it that way.
Well, I know
Yeah.
Bernard Chang. I know Bernard Chang does original artwork, original pages. He'll do digital covers if he has no time, but majority of the time he's always done original pages. Some just like Humberto Ramos does all original pages, and Victor Losaba inks them all.
Well, they get a lot more money selling their pages to people at Comic-Con than they do selling them to Marvel and DC to publish them in the comics.
Absolutely. And just to speak to the digital thing briefly, and because Jose mentioned Daniel Warren Johnson, he does do a lot of the stuff digitally. Like he does all his layouts, perspective work digitally because it's quicker, and then he gets an artboard out and actually draws it physically. So it's a streamlined process, and I'm just using him as an example, but I think a lot of people are seeing the digital thing as just more of a tool to help speed up certain aspects of the process.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I just know that in this day and age, sometimes the digital is taking over on some things. And when I see and watch interviews with some artists and stuff, I always see their artboard, and usually their artboard isn't one of the old school ones where the paper, you know what I mean? It's
right.
one of those big digital ones. And so I was just curious. I mean, I know that there are still people that do that, but I wasn't sure where the ratio was from actual pages to versus digital at this point.
Well, there's a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists also that do digital first, and then they'll do blue lines.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
That's what Lego was saying.
Yeah, they'll do blue lines and then they'll just ink them on there.
I've seen like some of the legends like McFarlane, Jim Lee, they've kind of adapted that the tablets. Fiona Staples does the tablets. I know Something That's Killing the Children is definitely digital. That's why that book's so ugly. Shots fired. But I don't know. I lean more towards the traditional work, but I think it's a pretty even division.
Israel's asking, how do you collect digital art as a buyer? Do you save it in a hard drive? I'm lost. What if you can buy digital art in the media and the metaverse? That could be a thing. Yeah, we talked about the NFTs before on different episodes. And
You could also buy just regular digital artwork if you wanted to, but for me it doesn't make sense at all. Like I'm not a digital artist collector, so I want my physical art. I need pages or commissions myself.
I'll throw out a million Dogecoin idea, which is like a penny idea. I think if you had like a really cool display of some sort to display your NFTs in the physical world, that'd be cool. Like an ultra HD TV of some sort that, you know, you could display them in your house to actually show off a little. That'd be cool.
So basically you're saying like a digital picture album?
Right, but it'd have to be, I mean, you'd have to find a way to enhance the 3D qualities of it or do something to spice it up a little, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, make it like almost like a hologram, maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here.
all right. Well, Padilla, Israel, Comic Cave, previews with Liz, and Geek in the Rock. It was great talking to you guys tonight. I think we didn't have too much downtime. There was some good conversations from everybody. Some people were involved with the talks more than others, but all in all, I think it flowed pretty well. Let's see, one last thing from Israel. Yeah, true. Imagine if you buy a digital art and it gets lost, like the power goes out while you're downloading it. That'd be interesting. We'll be back here again next Monday at 9:30 talking shit again. Don't forget to check out the Comic Cave coming out on Wednesday, and then their Whatnot show tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Ray's Comics is going to be doing some live sales this week. At what time, Liz?
7:30 on Wednesday and Thursday, Whatnots, and then Friday Instagram.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Guys, night.
Good night, guys.